The Iliad and the Odyssey, Act 4 by Rosemary Sutcliff. New vocabulary words for Act 4. They include, now remember, when you see them in the writing, they will be in yellow so that you can refer back to them or back to this slide for definition, or in some cases you will see the definition on the slide towards the bottom. The new vocabulary words for Act 4 include: cast is to throw something, a bow is a curved staff used to shoot arrows, Styx, a mythical river that flows into Hades, sacred, that's a review word, holy to a religion, coo is a soft sound made by doves, that's also a renewal or a review word, furious, very angry or full of fury, centaur, half horse, half man, is a review vocabulary word, and harbor, again, is a review of a vocabulary word, and a harbor is a place where ships find shelter. One of the new vocabulary words for this act number 4, is the word cast, and if you remember, it means to throw something. So what things can we cast? We can cast a fishing line, you can cast a spell, you can cast dice, you can cast a javelin or a spear, or you can cast lots like a lottery. Cast. When King Menelaus returned from hunting and found his queen fled with the Trojan prince, a black grief and red rage came upon him. He sent word of the wrong done to him, and a furious call for aid to his brother, black-bearded Agamemnon, who was the high king over all the other kings of Greece. From golden Mycenae of the Lion Gate, where Agamemnon sat in his great hall, the call went out for men and ships. To ancient Nestor of Pylos, where the wild doves coo, to Ajax the mighty, lord of Salamis, and Diomedes of the loud war cry, whose land was Argos of the many horses, to the cunning Odysseus among the harsh hills of Ithaca, even as far south to Idomeneus of Crete, and to many more. And just a quick review of homographs. Now remember, a homograph is a word that's spelled the same, but they sound different, and of course they have different meanings. For example, a bow, like you shoot an arrow from a bow, and a bow like you would put in a girl's hair. A bow would make the different sound, which means to bend down. So bow and bow are your homographs. From Crete and Argos and Ithaca, from the mainland and the islands, the black ships put to sea. The kings gathered their men from the fields and the fishing, and took up bows and spears for the keeping of their oath to fetch back Helen of the fair cheeks, and take vengeance upon Troy, whose prince had carried her away. Agamemnon waited for them with his own ships in the harbor of Aulis. When they had gathered to him there, the great fleet sailed for Troy. But one of the war leaders who should have been with them was lacking, and this was the way of it. Before Paris was born, Thetis of the Silver Feet had given a son to King Peleus, and they called him Achilles. The gods had promised that if she dipped the babe in the Styx, which is one of the rivers of the underworld, the sacred water would proof him against death in battle. So gladly she did as she was bidden, but dipping him head first in the dark and bitter flood, she held on to him by one foot. Thus her fingers pressed around his heel, kept the waters from reaching that one spot. By the time she realized what she had done, it was too late, for the thing could not be done again. So, ever after, she was afraid for her son. This is a beautiful artifact, and it shows Achilles and his famed armor, and they're shown on an ancient wall tile. You can see it's been broken, so it must be very, very old. When Achilles was old enough, his father sent him to Thessaly with an older boy, Patroclus, for his companion, to Chiron, the wisest of the centaurs. With the other boy, Chiron taught him to ride and trained him in all the warrior skills of sword and spear and bow, and in making music with the lyre, until the time came for him to return to his father's court. Chiron, remember, was a centaur, so you can see from this statue that he is half man and half horse, and Achilles learned to ride horses by riding Chiron. When the High King's summons went out and the black ships launched for war, his mother secretly sent him to the Isle of Sicros, begging King Lycomedes to have him dressed as a maiden and hidden among his own daughters so that he might be safe. How it came about that Achilles agreed to this plan, no one knows. Maybe she cast some kind of spell on him for love's sake. There he remained among the princesses in the women's quarters while the black ships gathered in the world outside. The end of Act 4. Now remember, you need to go back and look for your vocabulary word slides so that you can make sure you understand the vocabulary in the context that you see it. Again, they are highlighted in yellow, so that should help.